everybody. Hi, this is Paola Guthrie from Creating Purpose with Pao, and I welcome you to the Spanglish World Network and Heart Network on Singo TV channels 250 and 251. Please remember to download Singo TV app on the respective app stores. While you download it, please rate it. You can find Singo TV in Google Chromecast, in Amazon Fire TV Stick, Roku Stick, and all smart TVs from 2016 and forward. So welcome to the house today. We have a special guest. It's my husband, Billy Joe Guthrie. He's here to talk about the benefits of self-development courses that we have taken together and how it has improved our marriage and our family. So welcome to the show and thank you for saying yes.
You're
Little bit
welcome.
nervous.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. Yeah, we're both kind of nervous because this is a little different, but hey, let's do it. I think we're somewhat qualified for the fact that we've been married this year. It'll be 20 years, so that's pretty fantastic, and I think anybody's book. But thank you for having me.
Yeah, and a little bit of our background. Like you said, we're going to be celebrating our 20th anniversary here coming up. I am from Mexico. I grew up, was born there, 18 years, and then I came to the U.S. And then my husband has lived in the U.S. all of his life. So we are we brought two cultures and we have learned, to build the foundations and continue to grow together as a couple as our family is growing. So today, share with us how self-development has improved you and our marriage.
Okay. Well, through self-development, I've really learned to view myself in a different way, to understand myself. Through when we started with Tony Robbins, and with his stuff, you learn about your 6 human needs, and through that, you learn kind of more about who you are and what you want, what you truly want.
And I think he froze. The good thing is that he is home. So if this continues to happen, I can just go get him. I think you froze a
Variety.
little bit.
Yeah. So security, variety, significance, contribution, growth, and connection. So if you understand that about yourself, of which ones, you usually have 2 to 3 primary needs. And by understanding these, you can really delve deep into yourself and understand like who you are. And that everybody has them, and mine aren't the most appealing, the ones that I had originally. But yeah, it really teaches you to look, and then you can see it. Once you understand this about yourself, you can see it in others. So I think that's really helped us. And then that was the main, I think, right there, because I understand that her need when we first started was she had a huge need for security, and where mine was variety. So we have 2 opposite needs. So we're going in 2 different directions. And so when I understood that, it was like, oh, okay, well, she doesn't like for me to just take us in a random area and get lost and then trying to find her way. She wants to know exactly how it's going to happen. And by doing that, I would put her in like a panic state, and she would just get angry because, she didn't know what was happening, and I was going completely against, where I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. This is an adventure. This is going to be fun. It's like, ooh, look at this, look at that. And something new, where I'd take her out of her comfortability state. So that was interesting to learn about ourselves and how we can use that now to function. Would you agree with that?
Yes. Imagine us going, on vacation, and I wanted to know exactly what towns we were going to drive by and how many stops we were going to make. And on his need for variety, to him, like you said, it was fun just to stop here, stop there, maybe take a different avenue, a shortcut. And that would put me in a bad mood because, he was not meeting that need for certainty. So learning about that 6 human needs really helped us understand each other and learn to adapt, right, to any circumstances now. Also, the need for connection, right? Sometimes I would connect in an aggressive way, like being mad. That's another way of connection. And when I understood myself and I understood that I was mad, then I would ask myself, then is this a need for significance? Is it because I want to be right and I want him to be wrong? So I also had to question myself, if I was mad because I just wanted to be right. So I had to also, I didn't have to, it was my choice. But I learned to manage, that anger to to a way where it was like building a relationship, and I was not just trying to be right so that he would be wrong. So what about that? Could you talk a little bit about the need for significance and connection?
Okay. So for me, my big one was for significance was huge for me. I mean, so much so that I refused to admit that mine was significance, because to me it's like, what an arrogant jerk, that needs significance. And after I realized the need for significance is not a bad thing, because the need for significance is like, I want to be first in whatever I choose to do, and I want to be the number one in whatever I really want to do. So after I realized that, but yet that had a conflict with me, because I never wanted to be that guy that was just very arrogant. I always wanted to be somebody who was trying to help other people. So it clashed with some of my other needs. And yeah, once I realized, is like, oh, I do have a need for significance. I do put myself first. I do like choose to do these things because, hey, look at me, because I can do this. And ultimately, when you get down to it, the need for significance is really the need for love, because every time that I was significant at something, everybody would like, hey, wow, he's really good for this. He's good at this. Hey, he's really good at that. And it's like I felt proud of myself after that. So yeah, that need right there. So in that way, at that time, I was thinking more of myself. And early in our marriage, I was like, oh, it'd be great to go over here in Italy, and I wasn't thinking about anybody else but me, in these scenarios in my head. I would never do that because it just feel wrong. But it's like, in my head, I was always coming up with like, oh, it'd be great to go to Japan. It'd be great to go to Korea and compete and do all these tournaments and do all this. So I was stuck between a life that I was living and a life that I wanted to live. So there was when you have conflicting ideas like that, there's misery, in yourself. You're like, God. Then it becomes like, that's where you get the idea of the ball and chain, because you can't go one way with the other one attached to you. But once I really realized that when I was understood that I was after significance, that I didn't need those things. The only reason I wanted it was for the love that was right there in the first place. I already had the love that I was looking for, but I was looking for it in the wrong place. So if I would stayed, and focused now, when I see my life, I'm like, okay, what life can I have with my family? What can I go?
Oh, lost him again. Maybe I'll just bring him here. What do you think, Eduardo? Should I bring him into this room? Uh, I'm gonna go. You just want to come join me?
All right.
You want to come join me? We just want to work in one spot.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. Give me a second.
Okay. You just close it. You want to end it? Oh.
No, I'll just head that way. Or yeah, I'll do that so that way it's not pulling the network.
Apologies. We're here with technology, but we're gonna make it work because we know it's worth it.
Let's keep going. Let's keep going. This last time, and then if it does it again, we'll shut it down and I'll head
Okay. Okay. So you were telling us that now, instead of thinking what you want, then you think about family.
Yeah, it's like it changes your perspective, because if you're getting all your needs met with your family, then you're not seeking an external, the external, because it's, you understand that it's right there in front of you. um, and um, I was telling you today that you your need for security is like you're my security blanket, whereas everything else can be chaotic around my world. And it's like, and I come to you because that's your main need. And then it's like, in a weird way, it's like you're that piece that keeps me stable, and I can be as chaotic as I want to around you. And that's what keeps me stable. But if that breaks, then it's like, that's scary, because I, even though I'm variety, like variety, if that part breaks, then it throws me out of balance. And I might be enough variety for you because you don't like a lot of variety. So it's like, you can keep that over at a distance and keep your security.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
and I've become a better, like I've become better at adjusting to variety. I've learned to eat in different foods because, because of you, which that makes me a better human, being able to try other different foods and then seeing different places as well because, thanks to your variety. One thing that came to my mind as you're talking is like, I think self-development, it's not it. We also go to church as well. We build our spirituality by going to church and even teaching some classes whenever we have the opportunity. Uh, but but today is about self-development and like how it's a tool, right? It's not it, but it is a tool that has helped us grow in our marriage and in our personal life. And the one thing that came to my mind when you were talking, it was about being enough. I
yeah,
think that gave us the gift, especially to me, to feel enough, to know that I am enough, that I don't have to do things to be accepted. That God created me, and just like that, I am enough. And for some reason, before I fought to be enough, for the world, for you, for the kids. And sometimes we're in that crazy eight, which we can talk about the crazy eight at a different time. It depends how this show goes.
I'm
uh,
heading.
but it's like that's another gift that I got from self-development, is like being enough. That it didn't matter, what profession we have. It doesn't matter what family you come from. Whenever we feel enough, whenever we know we're enough, then we're able to really love and share with others.
Okay. Yeah, I'm having a little bit of interference. But yeah, totally. That's where the significance comes in, is because, when you hear other people saying this, hey, good job, and you feel that a little bit like, okay, well, maybe I am enough. And and I totally get where you're coming from, because being enough is basically saying that you don't need anybody else to tell you that you're enough. You have to know this, and you have to trust your opinion of, I am enough, and I am enough, because who, whose opinion matters more than yours on that scenario. And if God brought you into this scenario, and he put you here, then that means that, hey, if you're striving to be better, then yeah, 100%, you are enough. You're here for that reason. You're here to, oh gosh, I've been listening to an audiobook like John Lavelle, and you're here to be a good, you're here to be an example of like Jesus. So it's not about you, it's about like what you can do for other people, and how, and it's, you're trying to help them. It's not about helping you, and you being enough is like, help other people. And that's, and if you can, if because by being trying to be good enough, it's all about you. It's everything's about you then. But if you're here and it's like you're giving openly and freely, then it's not about you anymore. It's about those that you're trying to help. Um, you know,
And yeah, and then you're now I'm thinking of the fight between the ego and your divine side. Whereas like the ego is like it's all about me and what I can accomplish,
yes,
versus the divinity is like growing, learning, like, okay, I messed up, but I'm going to do it better, and how can I improve others? with what I've learned, and it is, I always try to question myself, is like, am I doing it from my ego side? Because
Mhm.
I don't want to use that side if it's not necessary. It's like I want to do it from that divinity and grow and be better. And today I think I had to push that for us to share this content in public, because it's like, it's scary, bringing your marriage
And yeah,
to
and I got to take my hat off to you, tip my hat to you, because so for me, this is the funny thing.
oh, you you better come here. Oh, we're in the same place, we're sharing the same internet, uh so I don't know why we're having
I'm
problems.
gonna give one.
Yeah, just click leave. Can you click leave? So there you go. So we'll share one big screen. He's taller than me, so we're gonna see how we can rearrange, but it doesn't matter. We're really here, honestly, sharing so that we can benefit at least one couple tonight, with our message, so, for you guys to see that it is possible. It has not been perfect, right?
No, no.
It hasn't been perfect. So we're not trying to sell you perfection. We're trying to share our wins with self development. So sorry, you were talking.
I don't even remember what I was talking. Broke my concentration. What was I? What was I talking?
We're talking about
Okay,
ego
yeah. So right
versus.
now, this is scary to you, but for me, it's like very exciting because I'm like, ooh, this is new and it's an adventure, and for her, it's scary because she's opening up and everything. But I take my hat off to her because she's come a long way. Because at the beginning, she would have never ever done this. So she's put herself out there further, and she's able to do more, and she's more open minded, and she's more uh, stopped trying to hold on so tight and kind of like opened up and let a lot of that go. Yeah. So
Rules, right? It
yeah.
was. I mean, and the rules are good. Rules are good. Keep us safe. But I think before self development, I had way too many rules, right? And like, I could not open up and share my love to him unless he had done A, B, C, and D. And what type of love what type of relationship was that? It was like, it was always keeping scores. And I wasn't truly loving from the bottom of my heart because I was keeping scores. And learning, learning that a tantrum lasts longer than the issue. Like whenever I get mad, for example, learning that the biochemistry of getting mad only lasts 2 minutes. After that, it's a tantrum. So learning that and applying it, telling myself, okay, it's been longer than 2 minutes. That's a tantrum. You better grow up and you better apply what you've learned. That also took, growth, and it took commitment to learn to love him the way he is. Because I was trying to love for what he did. And that was a big one too. Learning to love, love you for who you are versus for what he did. What did you have to say about that? What was your journey on that one?
That was very hard because I think in the beginning there was this idea of what you wanted me to be,
Yeah.
and then I had a conflicting idea, and I was always trying to be enough. So it was a lot of suffering in the beginning, to where I would try and I try and I try, but I would like be I was pretty miserable in the fact that I was not enough. And what's my primary need is significance. So by not getting that significance, it was very painful. So that caused a lot of risk, because then if I'm not happy and then she's not happy either, then it's like it pulls us apart. But with the fact that, I guess, with our traditional background, like her dad and her mom are both still married, and my mom and dad are still married. So it's like we still try to stick it out and try to keep fighting the fight to keep together. So that, I think, saved us. Let's see. So, but through self-development, we can both see after we went through it all of our errors. Like for me, trying to be enough, but at the same time, whenever you're trying to do something that is not you, and but yet you want that love from somebody else so much, it's very difficult. Um, but yet you still want to make it work.
Yes, yes. And in my psychology, he was a project, right? Like deep down in my psychology, he was a project that I was supposed to guide, right? And yeah, pretty much guide and just tell him what to do.
Yeah. And in my psychology, it was like something was wrong with her, and hopefully she developed it. But it was really totally me not understanding what she needed. And then
It was a certainty,
yeah,
like I wanted the certainty from
yeah,
him.
and I couldn't provide that because there was no certain.
He was variety.
Because I'm like I'm spurt like I'd do anything at any time. Hey, that sounds. Let's go. Let's try it something new. Hey, you want to move to Mexico? Let's go tomorrow.
Yeah.
It was like that much variety. It was like it didn't matter.
Yeah. Yes. So learning, through self-development, the human behavior has been a blessing, has been probably an answer, I know, to my prayers of how to be more, how to learn to be a better, wife, better daughter, better mother, better person. And, through that journey, and we're still in that journey. We're still, we're still learning. And our main message is like, we're working class. He goes to work 8 to 5. I work, and it's still possible. Because I think this was, to me, was a huge discovery, like for self-development, because for the working class back then, I didn't see any, and any working class friends or within the community that talked about going to courses or reading certain books, that guide them to improve their life, marriage, family.
So yeah, I totally agree. You're always looking for wisdom, or if, I don't know if you guys are, but it's like I totally am always looking for wisdom, looking for a better way, a more peaceful way, some way to live life that is happier, more collected and peaceful, and not so crazy. And through self-development, that was possible, but I didn't know anybody that I knew of. If I did, they never shared. And I was always looking for that Mr. Miyagi, if you would say, like even in like a background in martial arts, and I was always looking for the Mr. Miyagi throughout my life, like trying to find a different master here, a different master there that can kind of give me guidance and give me a way to walk through life. But what I truly found out is there is no Mr. Miyagi out there except for the one inside you. So, and the only way that you can find this is by messing up and then figuring out, how do I fix this? It's like, if I mess up, how do I fix this with her? And by understanding that through self-development, is like we have come so much further. And I talk about this a lot to my friends and my family, is like how much our relationship has grown because of this. We're more open in our conversations. We're not mad at each other because the other one hasn't done something that we think that they should have done. And then it's like where you have these fights where you don't talk. It's more like, hold on, hold on, hold on. Now when we fight, it's like, okay, time out. Okay, take a break and then come back and be like, okay, this is what I'm thinking right now, and this is how I'm feeling. Okay, all right. So tell me exactly how you're feeling and what you're thinking. They're like, oh, okay, well, that totally makes sense. I'm sorry, I thought this way. And there's just way more open conversation, and that creates a better relationship. And ultimately, this has helped not only with us but with our kids. It echoes through our kids. You can see it whenever they talk to their friends, or they're just, well, sometimes don't with each other. They still fight, but it's they're more able to understand themselves and then understand others, and then they're usually like the counselors of their friends, to where they talk them through stuff that's going on with them. So
Yes. One thing that I thought about is like, he's always right, and you're always right. because you see it from your perspective.
Yes.
You see it from your experience. Only you have lived through that experience that has given you that perspective that you think that way. So that was another big learning experience, that whenever he shares something, it's like, you're right. And he is right, because he sees it and he feels it and has the experience that he only has lived. And I have to understand that. It's like, okay, you're right. Now let's work it out.
So yeah, it reminds me of a story about the orange, where you have an orange here, and we're both fighting over this orange, and we're just like, no, it's mine, and you're like, no, it's mine, back and forth. And then if we just stop and we talk, it's like, you want the orange peel because you want to use it in a recipe, and I want the orange itself. So we can have both if we would just communicate. Both get what we want if we just communicate. And it's having that ability to communicate with each other that's really helped through this journey.
Yeah, here we go back. The basics of the human behavior. I think that's what we've taken. Because whenever you go to a course, you go through a seminar, there is a lot of information. Just take what serves you, and then the rest, you can always go back for the rest. We always take notes. Or at least it's like everybody has extra notebooks and pens to always take notes. And we take what is serving us at that time, and then the rest is like, we'll see. We work with main things, and we have found results, and we continue for more. Like he said, he's listening to a book. I'm reading a book as well. Here we are, we're working class. We make and try to fit in things that are going to benefit us and help us grow, so that our kids, like you were saying, are watching.
Yeah.
Like this morning.
Yeah, they model. Like anything you do, the way you fight, the way you talk to each other, the way you show affection to each other, the way you eat, everything they're going to model whenever they get older. So if you don't want that, if you're fighting the way with your wife, so like from my example, I don't want to fight with her because I know, or if I'm mean to her, or just whatever I do to her, that I know that my daughter's going to find somebody out there just like me to replace me in her life. So by seeing it that way, it's like, okay. And I'm not saying I want to be mean, but I want to get better. So I know that she finds somebody out there who's going to be good to her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And same, if I model the way I treat him, then our boys, they feel like so mine, but I know they're our boys. They, we pray that they will try to find someone that cares, and they want to nurture and build that relationship. So
with wisdom, she has a lot of wisdom. Yeah.
Hey, they're tools, right?
Yeah,
We're putting tools in our bag to be better, so that we can shine the light, God's light through our heart, so we can bless other people. That's just what I believe that we're here to do, to bless others and help others. And somehow, we're brave enough, and we're here sharing with you also. Oh, okay. So we talked about human needs. He loves uncertainty, which is variety.
Yeah.
I was certainty, which is the opposite. So every time he would try to meet his need for variety, I would get nervous and stressed out, and my mood would change. Significance, I think we all have the need that we want to feel that we matter. Everyone, I believe. Connection is mainly love, but we just settle for connection because we're too afraid, I think, to feel the pain. Don't you think? Some people are afraid to feel the pain.
Oh, of course, because you don't. It's scary to open up to other people. It's you want to trust people, but if you've been burned so many times, it becomes like, oh, I don't want to continue to open up. But I'm here to tell you, it's like you got to open up. You got to keep trying. It's like getting a piece of food that you don't like to try. It's like, okay, I will never eat that again, but I'm going to try this other food that looks really good. This is the same thing with people. It's like, find other people that have. If you want to open up or want that connection, keep trying. Find people in this industry, or find other people that are trying to improve themselves, so that way they can give their energy to you, and you can You're feeding the light whenever you're doing stuff like that. Don't feed the darkness. Don't harbor those people that keep tearing you down. But if they're trying, you also have to see it. I'm sorry, I'm going rambling here, but if you also have to see it from their perspective. And if you don't have the ability to help them, then go to where you can build your light up enough to where you can come back and eventually help them.
Because they're right.
Yes.
Based on their experience,
yes.
They're right. And yeah, we have to respect that. Respect, that's another one. I learned, like respect. Respect you for who you are.
Yeah,
right?
love yourself. So, okay, I'm somewhat, well, not so much anymore, but I'm somewhat of a nerd. So it's like I like, well, it's what some people would call a nerd, but I kind of call myself that as well. I liked all these things, but then I felt ashamed for liking these things. Well, why did I feel ashamed? Because I felt like if I like this stuff, then I wouldn't be enough for somebody else out there that looked down on this. And after you realize that you are who you are, don't lie to yourself. Be true to yourself. To thine own self be true. So be true to yourself. So that way you at that point you're listening to your heart, not your mind. And by listening to your heart, you'll be so much more happy. If you just accept yourself for who you are, what you like to do, and just do it 100%, and then give of what you like. It's like get around other people that like the same kind of thing. Talk to them. It's like pick them up. Hey man, I like that you like that. Oh, well, I like that you like that. So right there, building each other up.
Yeah.
So me and my wife are very different in that case. It's like she likes telenovelas, and I like more sci-fi fantasy.
I grew up with telenovelas.
And I grew up with sci-fi fantasy, so it's kind of funny. It's like the adventure, wild, and then
The
it's
drama.
Like the drama. Yeah. So I think we are both stuck in our own little Crazy 8 adventure. If you guys don't know what Crazy 8 adventure is, or Crazy 8s are, it's whenever you must experience those highs and lows of emotion. So it's like you start out, everything's great and you're happy, and then in a relationship or even by yourself is like, then all of a sudden you find yourself getting sad and lonely, and then to get out of that lonely, you find yourself getting angry, and you pick yourself back up and you're like, oh, I'm just and then you kind of come back around where you're like, okay, I feel good again, and then it just kind of goes back to sad and lonely and then angry because for whatever reason, and it's just continue this pattern. And if you can recognize it, I was totally in it because it's like I needed that variety. So I'd get that variety, and then it would drop whenever I wasn't doing anything. And then I'd get the variety, and then it would drop. And so it was like a constant up and down. And that is exhausting. So it's like after you figure it out, it's like you might not have the extreme highs or the extreme lows, but you stay kind of in the middle. And that's so much more peaceful, I think. And I think on our relationship too, is like I don't need those really high highs anymore or those low lows. We stay about right in the middle, and everything stays really, really nice and pleasant. And I didn't think that was possible when we first started. I didn't think that was a thing where you could kind of stay in this level where we don't argue like crazy. It's like we might have these, like I said, is like these arguments where it's like, okay, time out, time out. When we kind of think exactly what we want to talk about, calm our emotions, and then come back to it, and then try to work it out.
Yeah. Crazy 8 is a very it's real, and it's a very neat way to understand it, because it is an 8 that you're meeting the significance, uncertainty. You are meeting the connection, because you connect with yourself. Here we go. I used to connect with myself and tell myself like, yeah, I was right, he's wrong. By doing that, I was meeting my significance because I was right, he was wrong. And then you get the certainty, because it's like, I knew I was right. You begin to tell all the stories in your head that gives you that certainty, and of course it gives you the variety because you're no longer in your neutral state, you're mad. Okay. And then your biochemistry cannot stay mad all the time because your body has to relax. So once you get tired, then you go back to a normal state, and then you can go back to a sad state, which is a depression state, which we all learn how to do that. We know what food to eat, drinks to drink, what environment to set. It could be that it could be on the living room. You put your the movie or a TV show or play music that makes you feel sad, and here we go. You connect with yourself. For me, here's the victimhood environment. You cannot stay sad forever, because your biochemistry has to rest, your muscles have to rest. So boom, you go back to normal, and then before you know it, you're mad again. He didn't put, he left the clothes in the clothes on the floor. Oh my goodness, why has he always has to do this? And you just find ways to get mad because he means you're significant, because you're right, he's wrong. Gives you the variety. You begin to tell yourself, oh, I keep telling him, he doesn't listen to me, blah, 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 blah. And then boom, it's like it's a crazy eight that we ride, and we're addicted to it. If we don't pay attention, if we don't learn about human behavior, then we can get stuck there forever. I'm no longer there, but honestly, I used to be there.
So it was like it was on the equal playing fields, because when she'd get mad and have all the same emotions, I'd have the exact same. It's like, how dare she be mad at me because I'm working all day long. I don't even like this, what I'm doing. It was just, whatever it was, I was just like, how dare she? Doesn't she know all the stuff that I'm doing? And then she's treating me like this? And it was the same thing. So we were basically the same person. It was like a gorilla stare in the mirror, like, just like banging on it and like mad at it. It was the same individual thoughts and emotions going at each other. So yeah, that through self-development, we start to realize it's like, oh, we were just being idiots.
So that's a crazy eight. And I hope you guys can recognize it and learn to get out of it, because it's not healthy. It's not, we're missing out. You're missing out because we were missing out on truly building the right foundation. And here we go. If you right now, there is a lot of courses. We're not selling you anything, but I know there's a lot of courses right now for self-development. So if you choose to, we advise you that hopefully you can do it with your husband or your wife.
Totally recommend Tony Robbins. The first course, at least if you can do that, because and we're not making anything off of it. I'm just telling you because how much it helped us understanding ourselves and then each other, and then understanding like where you can go. That was another one. And if the things that you think you want are truly what you're after, that was a big one for me. Finding out that, hey, maybe I'm not exactly who I think I am. So, and then really paying attention of what's inside. That first Tony Robbins course was great. Like I would recommend that. The first and the second one were really, really good.
Which was UPW.
Yes.
You have to do UPW before you can do Date with Destiny.
Yeah.
So Date with Destiny also like kind of brought us even closer together as a husband and wife, because we explained that's where I truly understood that I was keeping a score, that I wasn't just loving to give my love, but I was trading it, because if he was not doing A, B, and C, then I could not express my love. And that was pretty miserable now that I think about it, like only being able to love, your significant other at time with condition, and that's not really a true way to love if there's conditions in our relationship. Like I said, rules are healthy. I just had too many rules.
So for rules, like I also have rules, and I know that whenever I have these rules, that they just make me feel safe. If those rules get broken, then I don't feel safe. So that's usually why we have all these rules, is because it might shake our safety, because even I have a need for security and safety. Like even though I'm so variety, but like that was telling like her, if she does something that's out of the norm, then it breaks my safety, or feeling the need for security, and that right there is scary to me. It's like, oh, okay, is this really what I think it is? And I have to reevaluate everything in my head that's going on. So yeah, just so you guys understand rules, it's like we establish those so that way, like, okay, if they do this, then I will have this reaction. It's because we want to feel safety, and it's like don't step over this line, and if you do, you're in trouble. That kind of thing. So if you didn't understand what she was talking about, and yeah, I just want to explain a little bit.
Yes. Like, like I could not share, I could not express gratitude. Here we go, towards you if you did not do A, B, and C. And then that's not really a way to love. Then we're like stopping the heart from like truly expressing love and gratitude. And I'll go ahead.
No, that's a good point, because I couldn't express it either, because coming from different households, especially, like, anybody can relate to this, is like you bring in you've been raised completely different than they have, at like a different paradigm. So whenever you guys come together, you're going to expect certain things, and she's going to expect certain things, and the way things were done in each household. And if they're not the same, then you're going to have conflict. And this is where you expect the other person to know exactly what they should be doing, but yet they might not know what you are supposed to be, or they think that you want done. So it's like it goes back and forth, because I expected her to do stuff that she might not have done it, and if she didn't do it, then I felt like she didn't love me. So that right there is like, well, she's trying to tell me something, or she just doesn't care enough for me to do this. And this was all stuff going on in my head. So after that, after we I figured, or we through this training and everything, and you start understanding these things, you're like, okay, so we are not the same. So our lives were not the same in the beginning. Not everybody does the same thing. So this is open up conversation to where, oh, so this is what this means. Oh, so you need this from me. Okay, yeah, well, I need this from you, and I would love to have this from you if you can do that. And then if it's like too much, it's like, no, okay. So it just opens up conversation where you guys can lock in and be like, okay, I'm okay with doing this if you're okay with doing this. And it's not a trade, it's more like, okay, I want to do this for you, and she's like, I want to do this for you as well, just to make you feel, I want to make you feel good. And I'm hoping it's the same.
So another thing before we go, that I've learned, it's being more grateful. Believe it or not, even though I'm Catholic and I thought I was very close to God before this, but through self-development, I got closer with my relationship with God. I became more grateful, like truly grateful. And I began to change those expectations into appreciations. What about you?
Yeah. So it did open my eyes immensely. Uh, so it seemed like I was looking externally at everyone else. What's a good example to follow? What's this to follow? Hey, if I do this, maybe I'll get closer to God. Oh, look how Christian that person is, or look how Christian that person is. Maybe if I follow who they are. But it wasn't until I started looking inside where I really was getting like stuff unlocked inside of me, like understanding myself, understanding your divinity. It was like understanding that we are. This is coming from me, so that we're spirit. We're just spirit, and that is you start the further you get into self development, you'll start understanding this. And it's not like they're trying to get you into a cult or anything like that. Like it,
Or drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, drink the Kool-Aid is what he says, because everybody gets freaked out when you go and do these things. But the truth is they just tell you to. It's psychology. It's like this stuff is done like Erickson. Um, Gosh, what was his name? Ericksonian psychology, which is it. Like he uses a lot of that. He uses a lot of neuro linguistic programming, and these are all psychological techniques that help you deal with things that's inside, help you like look inside yourself. And it's I just don't really know exactly how to put my finger on it, but it's like you will feel way better and understand yourself way better by doing this instead of looking at the external. Look internal. It teaches you how to look internal instead of looking at everything on the outside. I need to be like this person. It's like, well, okay. Now instead of I need to look at that me to be this person, it's like, okay, well, who do I need to be? Who do I need to be inside? What is it about this person that I admire? Okay, can I be that inside and look at myself? Am I that already? All right. And what do I think I need to be this that they are? So it helps you ask those questions, and then you realize a lot that you don't need a lot of what you see externally. You're like, why do I need that? That doesn't make any sense. Once you actually start looking internal.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Uh, and it helps you forget. It's a beautiful journey to forget, especially if you're carrying a baggage from childhood, if you're carrying a baggage from, you were a teenager or any point in time, then you can at least go back and understand that your parents did everything they could at that time with what they had.
Yeah.
And it has been a beautiful journey to learn to let go, to learn to say thank you for what you did. I am stronger. You begin to see the gifts that you gain through those. If someone betrayed you, if you have gone through something and professionally, and you're still, you still have it within you, and it's been 10, 15 years through self-development, I've been able to like let go. Let go. It's like with a lot of gratitude, learning to see the gifts. Who did I become because of that situation? So I think that's another big one that.
Yeah, it's been night and day for both of us. I mean, I see a huge difference from when we first got married, and it's like she's opened up. So whereas it used to be like this, and I could see glimpses every so often of who she really was. Now it's like she's very open and very loving, and that person that I could see glimpses of in the beginning is now I can see full force, and that was worth the whole trip.
Whole money
Yeah.
spent in time.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. Oh, but we've grown though.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's like we both have grown, and
And
we're way better than
and
what we were.
I hope I have as well.
Yes, you have a yes. I mean, yes. You, like you said, you see more internal, now as a father.
Mm.
So there has been a big growth as a father as well as a husband. You've always, I think he's the type of man that the wife is first, and it's been beautiful because in my culture I did not experience that. Uh, but yeah, I mean, yeah, we've we've overcome a lot as well.
Oh, thank
Uh, so we just wanted to share with you guys today the benefits of self-development as a couple. Which wanted to be real. We're not selling you anything at all. It's just an idea that he had a few weeks ago, and it scared me
you.
because our relationship is not perfect, and he has not been perfect. And I think I shut down. And then I thought about it, and I prayed about it, and we said, why not?
So okay, so I want everybody out there to understand that you all go through things. We are just like you. We're just like you. We have there's complications in our lives. Not everything goes great. The world is not always perfect. We have our own fears. We have our own everything just like you do. It's like you just learn to see it differently. Okay. And I, we truly want to help you and your life to be smoother because this stuff should be known. Is like people should have to suffer. This should be common taught. Like everybody should know these things. So from us to you, please use it if you can. If you can grab any of this, please use it. Give it a try.
Yeah.
And see if you can kind of understand yourself a little better. And if you can get into the, date for destiny.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that,
Glory to God first, right?
yes.
Because I believe that he heard my prayers, and I was able to dive into the self development. Some people don't agree about self development. They think it just has to be uh, religion. Okay. So we would do both.
Yes.
We learn, we go to church, we learn, and we also do self development. And they're tools. They're tools that just help us become better because life is always changing. Our kids are growing, and we're always in new stages. So thank you all so much for joining us today. Any last thoughts that you want to share before we close?
just never stop trying. Understand where you guys are both going in your relationship. Set that ground. Like, what is it that sit down and ask your partner, your spouse, where is it that you want to go? Do you want a family? Do you want to live like, do you want to grow old together? Do you want to work out like, and do you want to have just the perfect life, or what the most perfect life you can have with each other? Do you just want to spend it with each other? Lay out those ground rules of where you're both going, so that way you can understand that you're on the same page. That right there, I think, is a huge one. Understand that it's not about, when you create a relationship, you're no longer just an individual. You're one entity together. You're one entity together. So, and understand that. That, I think, is a huge part of it. She's my yin to that's cheesy. But yeah, it's a yin yang relationship. She's more feminine and I'm more of a brute. So it was like, so it works. She's she's my security. Whereas I'm the variety. I'm just all over the place. But it works. And understand that about each other. Love that parts of the other person that it's not you. Love that.
Love, yeah, learn to love who he is or who she is versus what she does and he does.
Thank you guys, and may you all be blessed.
Thank you all for listening to to our conversation today. This show can also be heard on Spanglish Radio Network. Please check out SpanglishWorld.ca for news and programming. Spanglish World. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, and live it. And blessings, blessings, and we'll see you soon.